from Professor uh, Kitagawa. He said that chemistry determines the structure, and the structure determines the performance. After producing the material, our work is not finished. We must evaluate whether the material actually performs as expected. Can it provide sufficient mechanical strength as the synthetic plastic? Does it have good barrier properties? Is it thermally stable? Can it degrade safely? Does it offer additional function such as antimicrobial or antioxidant activity? And then finally, we ask the most important question of all. Does this material create real impact? Can it reduce environmental burden? Can it be produced economically? Because ultimately, developing a sustainable material is not only about publishing scientific paper, it is about creating solutions that generate real value for both society and the environment. Now, let's take a look at where the research community is heading. Based on the Web of Science database, more than 5,000 research articles related to bioplastic itself have been published over the past 5 years, showing that this field is growing rapidly. If we look at the chart, we can see that bioplastics are no longer studied within polymer or material science. Research has expanded into chemistry, chemical engineering, environmental science, biotechnology, or even food science and technology. This tells us something very important. The goal of bioplastic research today is no longer just to replace conventional plastic with biodegradable material. In other words, bioplastic have evolved from being alternative material into advanced functional material that combine sustainability with performance. Now, I would like to share my personal perspective on this topic. When we talk about the global challenge of bioplastic, we often heard that the word of commercialization. While commercialization is certainly important, I believe the bigger challenge is actually adoption. Did you remember the last slide that is showing the same world map? It is showing the diversity of the every bioresources across the world, because one of the solution does not fit in every region. As we discussed, every part of the world has its own unique bioresources. This difference should not be seen as limitation. They are the opportunities for innovation. Instead of trying to develop one universal bioplastic for everyone, I believe each region should explore and valorize the renewable resources that are already available locally. The raw material may be different. Some of have a corn kernel, bamboo shot, cellulose from the rice husk, and any other type of material resources. The fabrication process may be optimized differently. Even the final product might be depending on the local needs. But the scientific principle remains exactly the same. If we can apply the same principle in sustainable chemistry to develop local bioresources, then every region can develop sustainable material that are both environmentally appropriate and economically meaningful. So in my opinion, the future of bioplastic is not about creating one global material. It is about to create many local solutions that work together toward one global goal. It's sustainability. As I come to the end of this discussion, I'd like to leave you with one final thought. Throughout today's session, we've talked about the environmental challenge caused by the conventional plastic, the rapid growth of bioplastic, the role of sustainable chemistry, recent innovation, and the importance of utilizing local bioresources. If you ask me, what is the most realistic pathway toward achieving net zero emission in the packaging sector? My answer would be these three pillars. First, we need a strong scientific foundation. As a chemistry student, everything starts with polymer science. We need to understand how molecules interact, how structure determine the properties, and how we can design material with the desired performance. Without a solid scientific understanding, sustainable innovation cannot happen. And then second, we need strong collaboration. No single researcher, university, company, or government can solve this challenge alone. University create knowledge. Industry transform that knowledge into the product, and government provide the policy and infrastructure that allow sustainable technology to be adopted. Only through our collaboration can reach move to the laboratory to society. And then finally, we need to embrace local resources valorization. Every region has its own remarkable resources and even its own industrial byproduct. Rather than searching for one universal raw material, I believe we should transform what we already have into high-value sustainable material. The bioresources might be different, the formulation might be different, and the final product must be different, but the scientific pathway remains the same. If every religion applies the same principle of sustainable chemistry to its own local resources, we won't create just one bioplastic for the world. Instead, we will create many sustainable materials, each designed for the local needs, but all contributing to one shared globally objective, a more sustainable future and the achieving of the net zero emission. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to have a discussion after this session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Ibu Anissa Istiqomah MS for the insightful presentation and valuable perspective on the topic.
Next, we are honored to welcome our researcher at BRIN, Ibu Yaya Nurhamia, SSE PhD. Good morning, Ibu. How are you today? It is a pleasure to have you with us today. I hope you are doing well.
Okay, is my voice clear? You can hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes, Ibu.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, I will share my slide. Mm. Sorry. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. Today I'm going to talk about bioplastic as an alternative solution amid rising plastic prices. So my name is Yaya Nurhamia. I'm from Research Center for Biomass and Bioproducts in National Research and Innovation Agency. So I'm a head of the Biopolymer Research Group. So previously my background is in Universitas Indonesia in Physics Department. And my doctoral is in polymer engineering, the Queen's University of Belfast, United Kingdom. So my research topic is all about biopolymer, bioplastic, elastomer, and also nanocomposites. So as we know that in the previous months, we see that there is a rising in plastic prices, which affect small vendors and also us. So it is because of the Iran war, So that's because the war in the Middle East. As you can see here, there is distillation of the petroleum. There is several type of products from the petroleum gas, gasoline, paraffin, diesel, fuel oil, and the naphtha is converted to the plastic. So the journey of plastic here, we see that from the naphtha, from the crude oil, we extract it to naphtha, and then we are producing plastic pellets, and then we mold it to several type of products and then distribute it to the marketplace, and we consume it as a consumer, and then after that dispose. So there is an alternative here for the crude oil, which is the bioplastic, which can be made from cassava and as sugarcane, corn, and also beans, and can be degraded for several days. So plastic pellets, as we can see here, is the starting point of the entire plastic industry. So all plastic products from the bottles and also plastic films are originally made from plastic pellets like this. So the plastic pellets is formed in the small granules that can be processed to various products. So commonly processed through several types of process, which is blow molding and injection molding. So commonly the industry for the pellets and also for the application is different. So there is industry for the pellets and also industry for the application, for example, injection molding and also blow molding. So most plastic pellets we use today are derived from the petroleum base. So because of that, because of the pellet prices are closely linked with the global prices, nowadays the price is increased. So before we move to another slide, I want to clarify one of the classification of bioplastics. So sometimes we see that bioplastic is the renewable resources and also biodegradable. However, there is three types of bioplastics. The first type is we see that there is a bio-based and also biodegradable plastic, which is come from renewable resources and also the biodegradable such as PLA, PHA, starch blends, and also another type of polysaccharides. The second type is the bio-based plastic, which is not biodegradable. So it is only to become alternative for the non-bio-based plastic. For example, for example, there's a biopolyethylene, bio-PET, bio-PPT, and all of this is not degradable, even though they come from renewable resources. For example, there's a news from the Coca-Cola that they are making a bottle from the renewable resources. However, it is not degradable, even though there's come from the renewable resources. And then the third one is there is a biodegradable plastic which come from fossil resources. So they come from the petroleum, but also biodegradable. So that is another issue, yeah. And the last is a common plastic, yeah, not degradable and also from bioplastic. So in here, we want a bio-based material which come from renewable resources and also biodegradable, which can be degraded in the environment. So, and also here, bioplastic pellets in here, we use bio-based material and also bio-based plastic. So in here, we use biomass derived sources, which is starch and lignocellulosic materials such as corn and also agricultural waste, for example, like straw, and also waste, for example, coffee waste, such as like that, and also bio-based polymer. We use here is PLA, polylactic acid. So we made it in granule, which is like this, ready to be processed using industrial machinery, which is compatible with extrusion and injection molding. So here, a biobastic pellet is expected to environmentally friendly. So we don't want to create another problem. So which is biodegradable and also reduce carbon dioxide emission compared to fossil-based plastics. So we want also the product not depend on the petroleum-based resources. So I want to introduce on our research. So what we've done so far is we research, uh, uh, we develop bio-based plastic, which is very different in other research. So most research on bioplastic you can search is still use solution casting or laboratory scale, yeah, especially in Indonesia. So that's why it's sometimes it's not yet ready for industrialization, which is sterile less than 7. So here, what we've done is we have developed bioplastic pellet, which is industrial ready. So we produce pellets from various resources, such as coffee grounds from coffee shop, seaweed, sagu, corn, and other bio-based resources. We guarantee that our research is 100% biodegradable material and also 100% bio-based. So it also has been registered in several patents. And here you can see our products. Is one of them is the cutlery fork in here and also a plate. Yeah. So in comparison to the traditional plastic, which is polystyrene and also polypropylene, in here for the cutlery, so our bioplastic shows similarities compared to polystyrene. In here, there is some of the characteristic, such as melting point, melt flow index, Young's modulus, elongation average. If you want to know what is the difference between this characteristic, you can Google it or we can discuss it further. So compared to the polystyrene, it shows our product shows similarity in terms of stiffness and brittle characteristic. So it's tough, tough and brittle. Therefore, it's suitable for the rigid application. However, compared to PP, polypropylene has a high elongation, which is and also very flexible. So that's why it's not very suitable for application for a rigid application, and it's suitable for application which is require high flexibility. So our products is more advantage of our products is 100% biodegradable as not use petroleum-based resources. Okay, I want to discuss about the future prospects and the bioplastic industry. So now currently in the world, there's an increasing demand for environmentally friendly materials because we know there's climate change currently is very strong issue. That's why the industry and the petroleum-based industry are also strengthening their commitment to ESG and net zero emissions. So some of the huge plastic industries, such as Bast from Germany, has developed bio-based material, even though their plastic still not 100% bio-based, but they're switching their products to more green. So, and also in some of the nations, the plastic regulation and becomes stricter. For example, there's a restriction on single-use plastic, and also targets for reducing emission and plastic waste. For example, recycle or reducing, and also encouragement to use biodegradable materials. So there's a huge opportunity to substitute conventional plastic. So plastic-based products are gradually being reduced because of the regulation, currently, for example, you can see there's United Nations is currently negotiating on the Committee on Plastic Pollution. There's a treaty, plastic pollution treaty, which have to be which is still under discussion, but I think that will be the future. Yeah, there will be the future. There's a plastic treaty which we the nations should pay some money to the UN for using plastics, yeah, in the global term. So that's why bioplastic pellets offer a potential alternative to conventional plastic materials. So it is also relevant for industry. I mean, yeah, it's very suitable for the machinery in the industry. So plastic industry doesn't need to invest on another machine. So that's why bioplastic pellets can support the development of sustainable product innovation. So and also create opportunity for green products. So the major challenge currently in the distribution of the bioplastic is the cost. You can see even though we want to search alternatives for the petroleum pricing prices, however, the bio-based biodegradable material plastic is still the cost is very higher. Even though, for example, we use biomass waste, agricultural waste, however, the cost is still very high. One of them is investment. Yeah, even though I said earlier that the bioplastic pellets use the current industrial machinery. However, the development or the production of the biomass itself need another machine, which maybe the plastic industry doesn't have. For example, we need to cut the biomass to smaller size, for example. So that's why it need another investment. Okay, and also some of the disposal and end of life. However, the disposal has lower environmental costs in comparison to the traditional plastic packaging. That's why shifts towards sustainable value is needed. So I want to price comparison now in the global term. For example, in plastic baseline is 50, for example, for the container, and the biodegradable option is 65. Okay, hot cup is not very different, even though still higher. What about in our country? How about in Indonesia? So I search some products in Indonesia. For example, here from the cassava, the price is around 17,000 rupiah, and in the same price, in the same size, the price is not very different. Okay, is around 16,000. This is 70,000. So the price is not very different, and also the price of bioplastic can be reduced through various strategies. So how to reduce the price of the bioplastic? How to make a cheaper bioplastics? The first one is, yeah, the issue, yeah, the conventional plastic prices becoming unstable because of the global energy crisis and also geopolitical dynamics. So we don't know when the plastic prices will be higher, yeah, the prices. So bioplastic offer more stable raw materials and sources based on biomass, which can be sourced locally, less dependent on the fluctuation and global prices. So one of the strategies is large volume production or economy scale. So and then direct supplier selection with their intermediaries, and also specification optimization based on application need. As you can see in here, some of countries has been applied tax or banned ban completely on the plastic bags. For here in the Europe, for example, there is such a plastic tax, yeah, for this, example, in UK, there's a plastic tax, 210 pounds per ton. And Spain, there's Portugal as well, and also in here in the US and some of the countries, yeah. In Indonesia itself, I know some region has banned use of the plastic bag, yeah, including in Bogor. So I think uh, one of the strategies is large scale production and also the support from the regulation. Yeah, for example, in here there's a news that Indonesia will apply plastic tax. Yeah, even though there is so much negotiation currently going on because there's even though we want environment to be, for example, uh, environment to be clean, but however, there's in the plastic industry is also will not very happy about it. So that's why increasingly competitive bioplastic increasingly competitive due to the lower disposal costs. Yeah, long investment, yeah. So potential exemption for plastic taxes in the future. I think plastic taxes will be the future, yeah, because of the UN Plastic Treaty and also support from regulation and market trends. I think the market trends nowadays, especially some of the middle income houses, realize that plastic is one of the problem for the environment. That's why they switch their products to more sustainable and more green. Yeah. So that's why bioplastic is the future of the industry. Yeah. So because yeah, as we say earlier, energy crisis is we cannot energy crisis and also price fluctuation and also environmental demand. That's why plastic industry are facing a global pressure. And the second is because of the carbon dioxide emission. So increasing plastic waste and stricter regulation in the conventional plastic. So a shift in the industry is inevitable. So the industry move forward sustainable materials driven by countries' regulation and a global regulation, market demand, and consumer awareness. So that's why bioplastic are part of the key solution from renewable resources and more environmentally friendly and can support energy resilience. That's why some of the big plastic industry in Europe, such as BAST, BAST in German, and also Total in France, are now and is currently launch several bio-based plastic products. So finally, yeah, plastic industry is facing major challenge, and also bioplastic pellet as the initial products for the bioplastic industry is a strategic solution because it's developed to the real product stage. Okay, so the bio-based plastic is driving the transition towards sustainable material. So we are open for collaborations for various stakeholders and also academic and also flexibles and need-based product. For example, if your wants to develop product for the specific ways in your region, in your city. For example, in my city, there is a lot of waste from the, for example, from the coconut or from the palm oil, or etc. We can discuss how to utilize that waste. Or, for example, in some of the country wants to have packaging, for example, biomass waste based packaging, or for example, or sustainable packaging. or for example, sustainable products from the biomass, we can talk and we can discuss. So yeah, we can use any kind of biomass utilization for agricultural waste to the, for example, another type of biomass, yeah, for example, of coffee, and etc. So we are ready to support research to application from the material formulation, processing into pellets, and also the last is product development. So we are very open for the collaboration, and you can send me an email here if you have any question or any topic to discuss with me further. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Yayan Nurhamiah, SSE PhD, for the insightful presentation and valuable perspective on the.
And our next speaker is a lecturer from the Department of Chemistry, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, University of Lampung, Dr. Sony Widiarto, SSE MSc. Good morning, Dr. Sony. How are you today? It is a pleasure to have you with us today. I hope you are doing well.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Can you hear my voice? Yeah? Is my voice clear? Eh? Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I have a trouble with my laptop. You can see my slide.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
First of all, I will say Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to our previous speaker, candidate Dr. Anissa Istiqomah from Taiwan University, and Dr. Yeyen Nurhamiah from BRIN for your insightful presentation and for sharing your valuable perspective of this important topic. Your work has provided us with many interesting insight, and I sincerely hope that we will have opportunities to collaborate in research and academic activity in the future. Distinguished lecturer, respected committee, fellow speaker, and dear student, even though my curriculum vitae has been presented by the committee, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sony Widiarto. I am lecturer in the Department of Chemistry, Lampung University. It's truly a pleasure to be here and to have opportunity to share some thoughts with all of you today. And I also express my sincere gratitude to Himaki, ya, Himpunan Mahasiswa Kimia Universitas Lampung, for the kind invitation and organizing the scientific discussion. It is encouraging to students taking the initiative to create academic forum that promote scientific exchange and critical thinking. I also would like to express to thank all of the participants, yeah, from anywhere, yeah, your enthusiasm and curiosity that drive scientific progress and innovation. Okay, in this slide, yeah, sorry, I don't see this is the slide. Eh? Okay. In this presentation, I would like to give my perspective of the bioplastic as the are bioplastic truly the solution to plastics pollution, yeah? Or are they simply another type of plastic with different advantage and limitation? Excuse me. Sorry, I have problem with my laptop.
Baksonya udah set.
Udah set. Bagikan. Okay. Thank you to the committee for your help. Okay, can we start the discussion, the presentation? Okay. Can you see the slide presentation?
Yes, Bapak.
Okay. My title is a sustainable bioplastic, a sustainable alternative or just another plastic. Yeah. This is the important question. Yeah. Are bioplastic truly the solution to the plastic pollution, or are they simply another type of plastic with different advantages and limitations? Yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, as has been stated by our previous speaker, yeah, why are we talking about plastic? As we know, plastic has transformed, yeah, in modern life, yeah, but it also become one of the greatest environmental challenges for our time. Yeah. As we know, more than over 400 million tons of plastic are produced worldwide every single year, and less than 10% of all plastic ever produced is ever recycled globally. So, and we know that only a small fraction of is effectively recycled, yeah? And large amount accumulate in landfills and natural environment. And as a environmental concern, there are marine plastic pollution. We call it microplastic. You can find it in the water, our food, and air. Yeah. And the plastic is have long degradation time, about 100 years degrade to degradation. Yeah. And also it is a ecosystem disruption. Yeah. Plastic are not inherently bad. Yeah. The problem lies in how they are produced, used, and disposed. Next slide, please. Okay, our learning objective is by the end of the session, yeah, you are expected to be able to conceptually understand, yeah, and define what bioplastic are from the scientific perspective, yeah, and you can distinguish, yeah, between bio-based and biodegradable polymer. And you can also material classification. You can identify different types of bioplastic base and on origin and degradation behavior. Compare bioplastic with conventional petroleum-based plastic. And from chemistry perspective, yeah, you can understand the chemical principle behind bioplastic synthesis and recognize the role of polymer chemistry in tailoring material properties. And from the production and application, you can describe raw materials and production pathway of bioplastic, identify real-world application in packaging, biomedical, industrial fields, And as a critical thinking, you can evaluate the advantages and limitation of bioplastic, and also can discuss the role of researchers in advancing sustainable materials. Okay, next slide. Okay, what are bioplastic? Bioplastic are a family of plastic materials that are either bio-based, biodegradable, or both. There are two important concepts. We know bio-based. Bio-based is plastic produced wholly or partly from renewable biomass. As we can say, for example, it's including starch, cellulose, vegetable oils, sugarcane, corn, algae, and agricultural biomass. The second is biodegradable plastic. Biodegradable plastic is plastic which can or able to decompose by microorganism. They are decomposed to carbon dioxide, water, biomass, and under anaerobic condition, it became methane, under specific environmental condition. So these two properties are independent. Okay. Next slide. So we will see these two terms, bio-based and biodegradable. Bio-based is describe the origin of the raw material. It's produced from renewable biomass, may not be biodegradable, focus on carbon source. And other side, the biodegradable plastic, is decomposed by microorganism, and focus on end of life behavior. For the example of bio-based is polyethylene, polylactic acid. This is called bio-based, and the biodegradable plastic, for example, is PBAT and polylactic acid. For your information, polylactic acid is both bio-based and biodegradable plastic or biodegradable polymer. Next slide. Okay, the classification of bioplastic. Bioplastic can be classified into four major groups. The first one is natural polymer-based bioplastic. The plastic derived directly from natural polymers. For example, from starch, we call pati from in bahasa Indonesia, cellulose, chitosan, and alginate. And also protein, it's also natural polymers. Second one is microbial polymers. Polymers produced by bacterial fermentation. For example, polyhydroxyl alkanoat, PHA, polyhydroxybutyrate, PHB. The third is synthetic bio-based polymers. The polymers chemically synthesized from bio-derived monomers. For example, polylactic acid and bio-based PET. And the fourth, biodegradable petroleum base, it's fossil derived but designed to degrade, PBAT, PBS, BCl. Next slide. Okay, bioplastic are not a single material. Instead, they represent a broad family of polymer with different origin and properties. Now we understand what bioplastic are and how they are classified. The next question is how are these materials actually produced? From renewable biomass to high performance polymer, the journey involves a fascinating combination of chemistry, biotechnology, and material science. So this is, we can say, is a multi, uh, not only one specific study, yeah, but it's multi-study. Yeah, we from how this material actually produced, yeah, from renewable biomass, yeah, to high performance polymer. From biomass, for example, biomass is a raw renewable feedstock like starch, cellulose, microbial cultures. Yeah. And the next step is extraction, yeah, the isolation of polymers or mono from biomass. Maybe we extract the starch or the cellulose from biomass, and after that we chemical modification or fermentation. Yeah, it's enzymatic on chemical conversion, and then we have a polymerization step. Yeah, for example, chain formation into polymer. Yeah. The next step is film product or product fabrication. We can use molding, extrusion, or casting methods, yeah, for the production or fabrication. And the next step is characterization. Yeah. The characterization is very important part of the preparation of polymer. Yeah. And the final is the application. Yeah, or application, whether the characterization is matched with the need of the consumer. Yeah. Okay, next slide. Okay, the chemistry behind bioplastic. Material properties are not fixed. They are designed by chemists. So for example, molecular weight of polymer chains and the crystallinity versus amorphous structure. We know that some of the polymer, yeah, have crystallinity, high crystallinity or low crystallinity. And then we know the copolymer, yeah, composition, and then cross-link density, filler incorporation. Yeah. Next slide. And most important step in the preparation of polymer or plastic is characterization. Yeah. A good bioplastic must be characterized. Yeah. There are many analytical technique in characterization of polymer or plastic. Yeah. As we can see in the slide, FTIR, yeah, Fourier transform infrared, scanning electron microscope, yeah, X-ray diffraction, and differential scanning colorimetry, and TGA. TGA is thermography analysis, and tensile strength, tensile test for mechanical strength. Yeah. Also, there is a characterization for water absorption, yeah, and the final is biodegradation test to test the environmental performance of the material. Why this characterization is important? This characterization is important because it ensures reproducibility, yeah, and confirm chemical structure. Whether if we make blending or we make cross-link of the polymer with the tools of FTIR, for example, we can know that whether the product is produced as or it's failed, yeah, and to evaluate performance for real application. Yeah. To compare with conventional plastic, we know that conventional plastic that we use today, yeah, is very powerful. Yeah, they characteristic. Yeah, so if our biodegradable polymer is not compared to the conventional plastic, yeah, it's useless. Yeah, and to determine suitable for industrial use. Yeah. Without characterization, bioplastic remain only a concept. Okay, okay. Next screen. Okay. Okay. Bioplastic is where are bioplastic used? Yeah. So the application of bioplastic. Yeah. We can use bioplastic for packaging. Yeah? For example, for food packaging, disposable tableware, cosmetic containers, yeah? And in agriculture, we can find in mulch films that biodegrade soil after use, yeah. And in the medical area, we can use for drug delivery system, tissue engineering, surgical implants, and for advanced technology, yeah. It can use for 3D printing, filaments, smart packaging, and antimicrobial films. So what the advantage, yeah, of bioplastic? Bioplastic is advantage because they are derived from renewable resources. Yeah. So we don't have to worry about the sources, yeah, because the conventional plastic, as we know, it's derived from the fossil, yeah, from the fuel, yeah. It's lower carbon footprint, yeah, and reduce dependence on fossil fuels, yeah, and potential biodegradability under right condition, yeah, compatible with circular economy principle. As we know, the conventional plastic, it cannot be degradable for 100 years. Yeah. And what is the challenges? The challenges for the bioplastic is higher production cost than conventional plastic. We extract, for example, there is many step, yeah, in the production of bioplastic, so it's higher production cost, yeah, and lower mechanical strength, yeah, and poor moisture resistance. Yeah. It is why usually we we use so, yeah, usually we use the combination, yeah, the biodegradable plastic or biodegradable sources with the conventional plastic. Yeah. We blend it or we make it modification, yeah, and limited industrial composting infrastructure. And then the challenges is competition with food resources or for feedstock, yeah, because the source is from natural polymer usually, yeah, from the starch or from the cellulose, yeah. So we have to compete, yeah, with food resource and risk of greenwashing and misleading claims. Yeah. Next slide. And the end of our presentation, yeah, my presentation is the Indonesia opportunity and take home message. Yeah. We possesses extraordinary biomass diversity and ideal foundation for bioplastic research. Yeah. And that's, for example, cassava starch, yeah, corn starch, yeah. From my previous study, I made uh, bioplastic from starch and from cellulose. Yeah. sugarcane bagasse, rice husk, palm empty fruit bunch. As we know, we are the uh, potential. We have potential because we are the world's production, the biggest production of palm uh, palm tree. We can use seaweed, and banana peel, shrimp shell. These resources create excellent research opportunities for chemistry students. For example, starch modification, nanocellulose reinforced, ketone-based film, active packaging, antimicrobial bioplastic, and waste biomass valorization. Bioplastic are not a single material. They are a diverse family of polymer with varying properties. Biobased and biodegradable are distinct concepts. Chemistry is the key driver in designing sustainable high-performance material, and bioplastic are promising, for the research, for the research. The best plastic is not necessarily the one that degrades fastest, but the one that delivers the required performance with lowest environmental impact throughout its life cycle. So for the conclusion, the best material, is not the one that simply degrades, but the one that delivers performance with minimal environmental impact throughout its life cycle. Okay, thank you for very much for your kind attention. I'd like to once again express my sincere appreciation to Himaki. Maybe this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Sony Widianto, SSI MSc, for the excellent presentation and for sharing your knowledge. All right, without further ado, let us begin today's Diskusi Ilmiah talk show session. We hope that all participants will follow the discussion attentively and gain valuable insights from our distinguished speakers. As we know, plastic has become an essential material in our daily lives because of its excellent properties, such as being lightweight, durable, and easy to process. However, conventional plastics made from fossil-based materials have created significant environmental problems due to their slow degradation process and accumulation in the environment. Therefore, scientists and researchers have started developing alternative materials that are more sustainable, one of which is bioplastics. Okay, I would like to address my first question to Dr. Sony. The question is, from a scientific perspective, what exactly is bioplastic and how can bioplastic be classified? What characteristics distinguish bioplastics from conventional plastics? Okay, to Dr. Sony, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the question. So from a scientific perspective, bioplastic are family of polymeric materials that are either derived from renewable biological resource, biodegradable, or both. Their term bioplastic doesn't refer to a single material, but rather to a broad category of polymers with different origin and end of life characteristics. Bioplastic can be classified in two ways. The first is based on their feedstock. This is bio-based plastic, such as PLA, polylactic acid. The second is biodegradability. One important point is that bio-based doesn't always mean biodegradable, and biodegradable doesn't always mean bio-based. This concept often confused. Okay, maybe this the answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the very informative explanation. Based on your explanation, we understand that bioplastics are not simply plastics made from biological source, but a broader category of materials with different classifications and characteristics depending on their composition and properties. This shows that developing bioplastics requires a strong scientific understanding, not only in terms of materials, but also their applications and limitations. Next, I would like to continue the discussion with Ibu Yaya. As we know, replacing conventional plastic requires not only the development of new materials, but also research, innovation, and technological readiness. In Indonesia, plastic consumption continues to increase, while environmental concerns and the need for sustainable materials are becoming more urgent. Therefore, I would like to ask Ibu Yayan, how do you see the potential of bioplastics as an alternative to conventional plastics in Indonesia, especially amid the increasing demand and challenges related to conventional plastic production? And how is the current development of bioplastic research in Indonesia? To Ibu Yayan, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss MC, for the question. So I think I have been explaining in my previous slides, yeah. So the potential of the bioplastic is strong, yeah, in Indonesia, especially because nowadays the plastic industry is currently facing pressures uh, because of the plastic prices is rising, as also dependence on the petroleum base and also increasing environmental regulation. So Indonesia itself has abundant biomass resources. So bioplastic can become a strategic alternative to reduce dependence on the fossil-based plastics. In particular, bioplastic pellets in my research are promising because they can be processed using existing industrial technologies such as extrusion and also injection molding. And also regarding the research development, the research of the bioplastic in Indonesia itself has grown significantly. However, many studies are still limited in the laboratory scale, usually using solution casting, yeah. Solution casting method. This means the most development are not yet ready for industrial application. So that's why in our work, we try to move beyond lab scale research by developing bioplastic that are closer to industrial application and can be processed into real products.
Okay, thank you for the very interesting explanation. From your explanation, we can understand that Indonesia has significant potential in developing bioplastics, not only because of the environmental urgency, but also because of the availability of various natural resources. However, the development of bioplastics is not only a national issue, but also a global movement. Therefore, I would like to invite Ibu Anissa to share a broader international perspective. Currently, many countries are focusing on sustainable materials as part of their efforts to reduce dependence on fossil-based resources. The development of sustainable polymers and green materials has become an important part of the global transition toward a more environmentally friendly industry. I would like to ask Ibu Anissa, how do you see the global trend of bioplastics and sustainable polymer development today? Also, what is the role of sustainable chemistry in supporting this transition? To Ibu Anissa, time is yours.
Okay, so from my perspective, the global trend of bioplastic has changed significantly over the past decade. So initially, the primary goal was simply to replace the petroleum-based plastic with biodegradable alternatives. However, today research has evolved far beyond that. We are no longer asking about can this material degradable by the nature and the normal environment? Instead, right now, researchers ask, can we design material that are renewable, high performance, economically feasible, and environmentally friendly throughout their entire life cycle? So this is why we now see rapid growth in the research areas such as functional bioplastic, active packaging, nanocomposite, microbiological biopolymer, and circular material design. In other words, bioplastics are evolving from simple alternative into advanced functional materials. And then for the second part of the question is about the role of sustainable chemistry, right? For me, sustainable chemistry is the foundation of this transition. It is provide a systematic framework for developing environmentally friendly materials. It starts by identifying the local available renewable resources, then defining the target application, and after that we can designing the material and fabrication process. It is consists the evaluating of the performance, the optimization process, and finally assessing its environmental and social impact. In the other world, sustainable chemistry is not only about using greener chemicals or only the optimization process, but it is about redesigning the entire life cycle of the materials. And and finally, I would like to share my personal perspective about this matter. I believe the future bioplastics should not focus on developing one universal material for the entire world, but every region has different renewable bioresources, whether they come from agricultural residue, marine biomass, food waste, or industrial bioproduct, rather than forcing one solution in every part of the world. So I believe this combination of strong polymer science fundamental, sustainable chemistry, and collaboration among university, industry, and government will be one of the most effective and efficient pathway toward achieving sustainable development and net zero emission.
Okay, thank you for the insightful explanation. From your explanation, we can see that sustainable chemistry plays an important role in ensuring that the development of new materials does not only focus on replacing conventional plastics, but also considers environmental impact throughout the production process.
Moving forward, one of the important aspects in bioplastic development is the selection of raw materials. Therefore, I would like to return to Dr. Sahu. As we have discussed, raw materials become one of the most important factors in determining the quality and sustainability of bioplastic. Indonesia itself has various potential resources, including agricultural products and biomass, that might be utilized as sources for bioplastic production. I would like to ask Dr. Sahu, what types of raw materials can be used in production bioplastic? And how is the production process carried out to obtain materials with properties suitable for replacing conventional plastic? Dr. Sani, time is yours.
Okay, actually, I have explained in my presentation that bioplastic can be produced from wide variety of renewable resources, like common feedstock, like starch. Uh, for example, starch we can extract from cassava, from corn, potatoes, yeah. And also we can extract cellulose from agricultural residues, yeah, from the like my previous study, I extract the cellulose from the cassava peel, and then also from shrimp cell we can extract chitosan, and from seaweed, yeah, we can extract alginate and microbial product, yeah, such as polyhydroxyl alkanoate. Yeah. So increasingly, yeah, and researchers are also focusing on agricultural and food processing waste to avoid competition with food resources. The production process, generally begin with biomass extraction or microbial fermentation, and followed by polymer synthesized or modification. The resulting polymer is then mixed with additives such as plasticizer, compatibilizer, or reinforcing fillers before being processed into film or mold product through technique. We can use solution casting, for example, or extrusion. If we have the tools like extruder, we can use the extrusion technique or injection molding. Injection molding in the advanced research. And from our perspective as a chemist, obtaining suitable materials property is not simply about selecting the raw materials. It's also required controlling molecular structure, polymer interaction, crystallinity. That's why we use XRD for the analyzing of crystallinity and the processing condition. This technique such as there are so many techniques like such as cross-linking, polymer blending, or what they say nano-composite reinforcement. This technique is often used to improve the strength, flexibility, and then thermal stability and moisture resistance. Okay, thank you. That's my answer.
Thank you for the explanation. From your explanation, we understand that the production of bioplastic involves not only choosing renewable resources, but also optimizing processing methods to achieve the desired material properties. However, the availability of raw materials also plays an important role in large scale development. Therefore, I would like to continue this discussion with Ibu Yayan. Indonesia is known for its abundant biodiversity and agricultural resources. Many local materials, including bioindustries, have the potential to become valuable sources for sustainability material. Based on current study, what local raw materials have the greatest potential to be developed into bioplastic? And what are the main challenges in ranging bioplastic research from laboratory scale toward industrial production? If yeah, time is yours.
Okay, so there's many different types of local materials, that can be developed into bioplastics. But from our research, we developed some bioplastic from local materials such as starch-based material, and also agricultural waste, from corn and also rice straw, and also from palm oil, empty fruit bunch palm oil, and also we also develop bioplastic from seaweed, the polysaccharide from seaweed, and also the fiber from seaweed as well, because we see that some of the biomass need land, there's a competition in land as well. We don't want that, so we develop from seaweed, and also coffee grounds, from coffee shop in several cafes in Jakarta, and also other type of biomass. So I think there's a lot of potential from the biomass in Indonesia. You can name it. Maybe some local materials in some region have different biomass as well, differ from the type of the farm in that area. So one of the biggest challenge that is converting raw materials is a stable, processable, and also suitable. So that's why we need a new investment, in the terms of the machinery for the processing of the biomass, For example, how to cut the biomass into the smaller size, and then how to cut the how to see how to cut that into like powder and to convert the fiber into powder. That is also another investment, yeah. So that's why I think that is the biggest challenge. Another challenge is also the consistency. We know that some of the products from the biomass, yeah, like fiber or polysaccharides, has sometimes it not consistent, yeah, in the terms of the properties, because it depends on the region as well, depends on the age when it harvests, and also different species, different types of different species will have also different characteristics. So that's why a consistent characteristic in the biomass processing is very crucial, because we cannot predict how we have the biomass characteristics, because each time it will be different, depends on the age, depends on the weather, whether it's sunny all day or sunny all months, or rainy all months, it will have a different products. So that's why it's still a challenge to make a biomass consistent characteristics, and that's why yeah, I think that's one of the biggest challenge currently for making bioplastic from biomass.
Thank you for the comprehensive explanation. We can see that Indonesia has great opportunity in utilizing local resources for bioplastic development. However, transforming research into industrial product requires innovation, technology, and market readiness. Therefore, I would like to ask our Ibu Anissa regarding global innovation. The development of bioplastic continues to grow worldwide, with various innovations being introduced to improve their performance and applicability. What are the latest innovations in bioplastic and biopolymer development globally? What are the challenges in commercializing and widely adopting bioplastic? Ibu Anissa, 5 slows.
Okay, so in my opinion, one of the biggest change in bioplastic research is that right now innovation is no longer focused on only replacing petroleum-based plastic. So instead, right now, research are developing high performance and try to make multifunctional biopolymer and try to uh, analyze and explore its final function. Like for example, current research is exploring nanocomposite bioplastic to improve mechanical strength and barrier properties, and make an active packaging that has antimicrobial properties, and the valorization of renewable resources and industrial byproduct into high-value materials. So today's bioplastic are becoming smarter, more functional, and more application-oriented. And regarding the second part of your question, I personally prefer to use the term of adoption rather than commercialization. So commercialization sometimes implies that one product should be marketed globally and mass produced. However, I don't think that is the most suitable approach right now, because as I said before, because many part of the world has different type of agricultures or maybe bioresources, and the biggest challenge is that every region has different renewable bioresources, different industrial infrastructure, and different social needs. Therefore, one bioplastic formulation cannot realistically fit to every religion in this world. So instead, I believe the challenge is how to enable each region to adopt sustainable material by utilizing its own locally available bioresources with the same pathway. So in this way, different regions may produce different bioplastic, but they all contribute to the same global objectives. So reducing our dependence on synthetic plastic, and moving toward a more sustainable future.
Thank you for the explanation based on the spot. We understand that also bioplastic have their potential. Commercialization requires improvement in technology, cost efficiency, and industrial acceptance.
All right, after listening to the presentations and the interesting discussion from our speakers, we will now move on to the first Q&A session. For this first session, we will take questions from two participants. For those who would like to ask a question, please write your question in the chat box along with your name, institution, and the speaker you would like to address your question to. For participants who are joining us in the room, you are also welcome to ask your questions directly by raising your hand and introducing yourself first. While waiting for questions from other participants, I would like to have a short discussion with Dr. Tony regarding the topic that we have discussed. Although bioplastics are often considered a more environmentally friendly alternative, it is also important to understand their advantages and limitations compared to conventional plastics. The question is, from the perspective of material properties, what are the advantages of bioplastics compared to conventional plastics? And what limitations still need to be improved through future research? So Dr. Sunny, time is yours.
Thank you for the question. Yeah. As I state in my presentation that bioplastic offers several important advantages. For example, they can reduce dependence on fossil resources. As we know, the price of oil is rising nowadays because of the Iran war. And also it's lower greenhouse gas emission. And in some cases, biodegrade under appropriate environmental condition. Many bioplastic also exhibit good biocompatibility. So it's making the bioplastic attractive for biomedical or food packaging application. However, bioplastic are not perfect substitutes for conventional plastic. Many as in my previous studies, I make bioplastic from starch-based materials. It has lower mechanical strength and also poor water resistance. Some biodegradable plastic, such as polylactic acid, it required industrial composting condition rather than degrading rapidly in natural environments. In addition, production costs remain higher than those of fossil-based plastic, like polyethylene, polypropylene, etc. Future research should focus on improving mechanical performance, barrier properties, thermal stability, and control biodegradability, while reducing production costs. Equally important is the development of environmentally responsible processing methods and comprehensive life cycle assessment to ensure that bioplastic provide genuine sustainability benefits. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much for the very clear and insightful explanation. From your explanation, we can understand that although bioplastics offer several advantages as sustainable materials, there are still some challenges that need to be addressed through further research and innovation.
All right, before we continue to the next discussion session, we will listen to the Q&A session first. We will write some of the quizzes that have been submitted by your participants. The first question from Anggun Pusmita from University of Lampung, directed to Ibu Yayan Nurhamia, SSE PhD. The question is, based on your experience as a researcher at why do you think many bioplastic innovations that have some promising results in research are still not widely adopted by industries? If we are, time is free.
Okay, thank you. I'll read the question on the chat as well. So based on my experience, when we discuss with the industry, one of their major concern is the cost, of course. Cost of the bioplastic still widely high. Yeah? For example, the price of PLA, polylactic acid, is much higher than PP, polypropylene, or also PE, yeah, polyethylene. That's why if we want to use 100% biodegradable products, it will be cost much higher. That's why sometimes we mix the biomass with the non-degradable, which is the cost is lower. So that's why because one industry always believe of the always want profit, yeah, because they are profit oriented. That's why the cost is the first thing they concerned about. Okay, the second one is the market, yeah. So if we want to build industry in Indonesia, we need to build the market first. So when we are discussed with one of the plastic industry, which they want to build a PLA industry, yeah, PLA production in Indonesia, they concerned about the market itself, how they can make profit if there are no market in the local. So maybe and also when I discuss with some of the industry from NV Plus, one of the biggest bioplastic production in Indonesia, they also export the plastic because there are no market in Indonesia. So the biggest challenge is the first is cost, the second is market. But I think market is one of the biggest challenge because if the market is high in Indonesia, there's a huge market of bioplastic in Indonesia. I think there will be huge bioplastic production. There will be large bioplastic production in Indonesia that will reduce the cost. That's why market is high concern. So how do we make a market? Yeah, it's another question. How do we make a market? That's why government needs to step in that area. How do we make a market? How do you regulate market in Indonesia? So that's why maybe that is the challenge. Yeah, the biggest challenge in Indonesia is market. Yeah, because we know that in local consumer in Indonesia still very cost affected. Yeah, we always see the cost of the material, not the benefit. So that's why I think that is the biggest concern.
Thank you for the explanation and insightful answer. I'm going to speak up. Is your question already answered fully? Okay, move on to the next question. We would like to participants who have raised their hands to ask their question. First, we have Iksan Indrawan from Unilab. Please turn on your microphone and go ahead with your question.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh semuanya, teman-teman yang terhormat Pak Sony, Bu Anissa, dan Bu Yeyen. Di sini saya ingin bertanya kepada Bu Yeyen ya Bu ya. Nah, di sini kan kita membahas tentang bioplastik dan mikroplastik ya. Nah, di sini jika kita menggunakan membuat bioplastik dari apa namanya sampah atau limbah organik itu kan harus dipilah terlebih dahulu, lalu diambil bagian organik saja dipilah, kemudian hasil juga uh, tidak terlalu banyak begitu ya Bu ya, kira-kira yang saya ketahui. Nah, yang jadi tantangan adalah bagaimana jika mikroplastik ini, terutama di Indonesia ya Bu ya, bioplastik ini bisa diketahui oleh masyarakat Indonesia, terutama dari kami, dari Lampung, karena dikarenakan banyak sekali masyarakat yang belum memahami hal tersebut. Bagaimana mikroplastik ini di sintesis begitu ya, karena prekursornya juga dari limbah begitu kan prekursornya. Kemudian juga banyak juga yang tidak mengetahui apa itu mikroplastik, maka dari sini kita harus mungkin ya menurut saya harus banyak-banyak kita sesering mungkin aplikasikan webinar juga. Yang jadi pertanyaan saya adalah bagaimana jika bagaimana jika di Indonesia, terutama di Indonesia ini belum belum sekali dikarenakan Indonesia kan belum 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 maksimal aplikasi bioplastiknya. Maka dari itu bagaimana biar bisa 100% approve begitu, Bu. Diaplikasikan dan diakui begitu. Terima kasih.
Okay, Miss and Mr. MC, should I answer the question with bahasa Indonesia or English?
Indonesia saja boleh, Bu?
Oh, Indonesia saja boleh. Jadi tadi sebenarnya saya sudah apa ya namanya menjelaskan bagaimana apa namanya bagaimana bioplastik itu belum bisa diterima ya oleh di masyarakat. Karena pertama adalah harga ya tentu saja. Jadi karena masyarakat kita itu masih sangat sensitif terhadap harga. Jadi bahkan harga beda 500 saja masyarakat bisa beralih seperti itu. Oke, misalnya, tapi kan Bu banyak yang niche ya, niche market yang menengah ke atas. Iya, mungkin bisa saja seperti itu. Kita menargetkan orang-orang yang lebih aware terhadap bioplastik, gitu. Oh, tapi Bu, misalnya kami pengen, misalnya masyarakat biasa juga sudah lebih aware terhadap bioplastik. Oke, bisa saja seperti itu. Cuman kan memang kalau kembali lagi ya, kalau masyarakat, mohon maaf gitu ya, yang menengah ke bawah itu sangat-sangat concern dengan harga ya, seperti itu. Jadi market gitu ya, pasar pendistribusian bioplastik itu sangat sedikit gitu ya, karena yaitu harganya masih sangat mahal. Oh, terus gimana dong caranya supaya kita menurunkan harga gitu ya? Kalau misalnya harganya sama aja kayak plastik biasa, gitu ya, pasti masyarakat pengennya plastik biasa aja, gitu kan. Nah, salah satu caranya adalah ya itu tadi regulasi ya dari pemerintah sebenarnya itu ya. Makanya pemerintah itu mesti step in di situ. Gimana caranya misalnya pemerintah daerah melarang penggunaan plastik atau misalnya ada cukai gitu ya. Jadi kayak yang produksi plastik ada pajaknya gitu ya, yang misalnya plastik biasa ada pajaknya dan sebagainya. Bisa juga kayak gitu gitu. Jadi gimana sih caranya kita untuk balik lagi ya membuat market gitu ya, membuat pasar Sehingga ketika ada pasarnya, ketika ada pasarnya yang lebih banyak yang menggunakan, jadi kan ada teori ekonomi ya, di mana kalau demand-nya lebih banyak dibandingkan supply, itu kan harganya akan turun gitu ya, seperti itu. Atau ya seperti itu. Jadi kalau demand-nya banyak kan supply-nya kan bisa banyak juga, sehingga produksinya lebih banyak, sehingga nanti akan turun harganya dibandingkan sekarang ketika demand-nya nggak ada gitu, seperti itu. Kayak sekarang itu demand-nya sedikit sekali gitu, sehingga produksinya pun semakin sedikit, sehingga ya cost produksinya juga akan semakin sedikit, semakin banyak gitu, karena marketnya nggak ada gitu. Bukan marketnya nggak ada sih sebenarnya, hanya tidak banyak gitu yang menggunakan bioplastik itu sendiri. Jadi menurut saya, gimana sih caranya masyarakat itu supaya aware ya? Kita ciptakan market supaya costnya turun. Ketika cost turun, masyarakat lebih aware. Oh, ini ternyata ada produk alternatif nih yang lebih oke. Karena balik lagi, masyarakat kita itu sangat cost sensitif ya, sangat peduli dengan harga gitu. Oke, terima kasih, itu aja.
Thank you very much for the explanation and the insightful answer.
Izin menanggapi, maaf Ibu Yeyen, mau izin memastikan untuk
Ya, gimana?
kesimpulannya, izin bentar ya admin ya. Nah, untuk kesimpulannya berarti tantangan kita di Indonesia ini itu berarti masih sangat besar ya begitu ya Bu ya, untuk
Ya, ya, betul, betul.
mengaplikasikan banget
Betul.
gitu istilahnya
Untuk
bahasa mudahnya.
mengaplikasikan 100% di Indonesia itu
Betul
sangat
sekali.
sangat challenging ya, karena balik lagi bioplastik itu masih lebih mahal dibandingkan bioplastik lebih mahal dibandingkan plastik biasa. Kalau misalnya harganya murah, nanti masyarakat juga akan lebih aware, oh ternyata ada plastik dari singkong gitu yang harganya sama aja dengan plastik biasa, seperti itu. Nanti masyarakat akan aware sendiri kok kalau misalnya nanti di di market gitu ya, di pasar sudah banyak gitu.
Menurut Ibu, apakah ke depannya kita dalam 30 tahun atau 20 tahun ke depan akan 100% digunakan bioplastik, Ibu? Menurut Ibu saja.
100% kayaknya sih mungkin saya nggak jamin ya kalau 100% digunakan ya. Cuman mungkin yang pasti akan lebih banyak mungkin ya dibandingkan dengan sekarang availability-nya ya, keberadaannya gitu. Karena seingat saya sekarang itu lagi didiskusikan mengenai apa ya, plastik, apa yang namanya itu, perjanjian plastik ya di dunia, sama sama kayak climate, perjanjian iklim gitu ya, sekarang perjanjian plastik yang mengikat semua negara untuk turut ya berandil dalam mengurangi turut andil dalam pengurangan sampah plastik. Nah, itu mungkin salah satu nanti alternatifnya adalah bioplastik seperti itu.
Baik, Ibu. Terima kasih, Ibu, pertanyaannya.
Ya,
Jawabannya.
oke,
Sudah.
Mas.
And it's Indrawan. Is your question already answered column?
Clear.
Thank you for the confirmation. We are going to has been answered. Thank you once again to our speaker from the response. For participants, the question have not been again. Please don't worry. We will open the second Q&A session at the end of the episode. And we will try our best to accommodate more questions from the participants.
Wow, it seems that the participants of this Diskusi Ilmiah are very enthusiastic today.
That's right, Buddha. Science, we have received an interesting response and questions from the participant. I will continue our discussion. I would like to ask our opinion regarding this topic. Bioplastic have promising potential, but there are still several challenges that must be addressed before we can fully replace conventional plastic. What are the biggest challenges in production and downstream development of bioplastic toward industrial scale? Are the challenges mainly related to technology, cost or market assumptions. For Ibu Yayan, time is yours.
Okay, I think I've answered the question previously, yeah, in the previous question from the audience, I think, yeah, from Mbak Anggun and also Mas Ihsan previously. So what is the biggest challenge? Of course, market, okay? The market acceptance, yeah, also the costs. That is the biggest challenge. Once we solve the market problem, I think the development of bioplastic will be increased hugely, and we can see the products of bioplastic anywhere. So if we can create a market in Indonesia, that is the solution, yeah. And after we see a lot of products, after we have market, we can see a lot of bioplastic products, and the cost is also will be reduced. So that's why. So market and cost is really linked, yeah. So that's why that is the biggest challenge.
Thank you for the explanation. From your explanation, we can understand that developing of bioplastic toward industrial scale is not only about solving technical challenges, but also about ensuring that these materials can truly provide sustainable benefit when applied in real life. As bioplastic continues to be developed and introduced into various industries, it is important to evaluate whether it can reduce environmental impact compared to conventional plastics. This evaluation includes not only the raw materials, but also the production process, use, and of-life management. Therefore, I would like to Ibu Anissa, from a global perspective, how is the sustainability performance of bioplastic evaluated compared to conventional plastics? And what aspects should be considered to ensure that bioplastic truly provide environmental benefit throughout their life cycle? So Ibu Anissa, time is yours.
Okay, sorry. So I will repeat again. I think this is the most important question in the field of sustainable material, because a material cannot be considered just simply because it's bio-based or biodegradable. Um, from a global perspective, the sustainability of bioplastic or any sustainable material should always be evaluated using a life cycle approach, or LCA. This means we need to assess the environmental impact throughout the entire journey of the material, from the raw material selection, manufacture, fabrication, transportation, product in use, and finally the end of the life of its material itself. So when we compare the bioplastic with conventional plastic, bioplastic have the potential to reduce the dependency on the fossil stock and lower the greenhouse emission. However, these benefits are not guaranteed. So for example, if a bio-based material require excessive energy during the processing, consume large amount of water, or is transported over very long distances, it is overall environmental impact may not be significantly better than the conventional plastic. Therefore, we should evaluate several key aspects. First, the feedstock. Second, the manufacturing process. And the third is the performing itself of the material. And then finally, we must consider that the end of the life scenario can be the material recycled, compostable, or biodegradable under the realistic condition in our environment. And does the local waste management infrastructure support this disposal pathway? So in my opinion, sustainable is not determined by only one aspect. So several aspects must be incorporated into support this.
Thank you very much for the insightful explanation. From your explanation, We understand that the development of bioplastic requires a comprehensive approach, where environmental benefit must be considered from the beginning of material production until the end of its life cycle. This so that bioplastics are not only a material innovation, but also part of a rich transition toward a more sustainable industrial system. Therefore, I would like to continue the discussion with our researcher speaker regarding the future development of bioplastic in Indonesia. As you know, Indonesia has great potential in developing bioplastic through its natural resources and research capability. However, strong strategies are needed to transform this potential into sustainability industrial development. Therefore, I would like to ask Ibu again, what strategies should Indonesia implement to strengthen bioplastic innovation and accelerate its development and industrial and its sustainable industry? To Ibu Yayan, time is yours.
Ibu Yayannya belum ini.
Sorry, I have. Sorry. Okay, let me repeat again. So the first strategy is to strengthen the bioplastic innovation is the support from the government, of course. The policy is very essential in this area. Yeah, regulation on, for example, the ban for single-use plastic, incentive for the biodegradable industry, for example, plastic tax exemption, or another incentive for green-based industry. So it can be accelerate market adoption. That is one of the biggest strategies. So I think the strategy to open the market in Indonesia for the bioplastic industry will be strengthened the bioplastic innovation and also accelerate the development of sustainable industry. And how about, for example, the industry don't want to target Indonesia market, for example. There are wants to export, for example, the bioplastic to abroad. Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about like that as well. We can see that well for Indonesia bioplastic innovation, if the industry can wants to export their bioplastic, it can be as well. So and also, but I think one of the biggest another biggest challenge is the collaboration, yeah, between researcher, industry, and user could be strengthened. And also another thing is we need to push through innovation. Yeah, we can see another country have also developed bioplastic from other type of biomass. We can also push through that, and we can also like promote our local material to then can compare to their material. For example, our material is not from food resources, for example, or our material is not from the land. We use seaweed, which is we can see our country has huge amount of the sea. That's it's another thing. That is another how we can promote our products. And yeah, I think that is some of the strategies. Yeah.
Thank you for the explanation. From the response, we understand that collaboration between researchers, industries, and policymakers is important to support the development of bioplastic. Therefore, I would like to ask Dr. Sani about the role of academics in this process. Academic institutions play an important role in developing scientific knowledge and breeding innovation. What is the role of academics and researchers in supporting bioplastic research and innovation? And what research areas should we prioritize in the future? Dr. Sani, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the question. Actually, the university and the research institution like BRIN, they play a very crucial role, in the advancing bioplastic. For example, because the we have so many discipline, like in chemistry and physics. We also make a study about the bioplastic. Also in the material science, for example, in the chemistry department, we generate the fundamental scientific knowledge, like what is the reaction, and also to develop the new materials, to synthesize new materials, and also optimize production process, and the most important is provide scientific evidence, to support industrial innovation and public policy. Also, researchers also contribute, by training our future scientists, our student engineers, and also by fostering collaboration among academia, industry, and government. Such we call interdisciplinary, interdisciplinary collaboration. It is very essential, for translating laboratory discoveries into commercial product. So looking ahead, we should prioritize the utilization of agriculture and marine biomass waste. Instead, we using the our rice or corn. So the development of high performance biodegradable composites, and also we prioritize the smart and active packaging, and the recycle bioplastic and environmentally friendly manufacturing technologies. This is so many activities. I think the standardized biodegradation testing and life cycle assessment will be increasingly important to ensure that new materials are both technically effective and also environmentally sustainable. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you for the explanation. We can see that academic research becomes an important foundation in building sustainable material innovation.
Before I move on to Ibu Anissa, we would like to invite all participants of this Diskusi Ilmiah who wish to ask questions to write them in the chat column, as we will be entering the second Q&A session. The number of questions to be discussed will be adjusted according to the available times. For those who would like to ask questions, please include your name, institution, question, and the speaker you would like to address the question to. Meanwhile, for participants who are attending the event directly in the room, if you have any question, please prepare them and raise your hand once the Q&A session begins.
That is correct, Ida. Participants would like to ask questions or can be invited to follow Ida instruction. All right, we're waiting for the participants to prepare their quizzes. I would like to ask another question to Ibu Anissa. Throughout today's discussion, we have explored bioplastic from scientific concept, research development, industrial challenges, and global perspective. With the increasing focus on sustainability and zero emission, Sustainable materials will become more important in the future. Therefore, my final question is for Ibu Anissa. How do you see the future prospects of bioplastic in supporting sustainable development and achieving net zero emission? Ibu Anissa, time is yours.
So before I answer, I already read the chat that Mas Ilham already asked the same question. So can I answer both question in the same answer?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I believe bioplastic have tremendously potential to support the sustainable development and contribute to the net zero emission. So, however, I don't think bioplastic alone will achieve net zero. They are one important component of a much larger sustainable system. So, from my perspective, the future depends on three key pillars. First, of course, our knowledge needs to be created strongly. We need a deeper understanding of polymer science, chemistry, molecular interaction, and material design. Only by understanding how material behave at the molecular level can develop bioplastic that are not only sustainable but also meet the performance requirement of real-world applications. So we have to know the basic information about the polymer chain, the cross-linking, the additives, how can we improve the mechanical properties, barrier properties, thermal stability, the antimicrobial properties. We have to know the basic language, basic knowledge before we enter the fabrication process. And the second pillar is strong collaboration because scientists itself cannot stand alone without any support from the government and also the industry. So from my personal experience in my PhD for my first project, the industry already came to our lab to ask us. We have tons of residual waste in the paper making process, and then our lab got challenged by the industry, and therefore they asked like, do you have any idea on how can we valorize and utilize this waste into valuable material later? And then after that, we have to do the deep literature review, how to purify, how to modify, and how to create a new sustainable materials. So achieving net zero is not something that university, industry, and government can accomplish independently. So we need to work together to achieve. So like the previous question to Ibu Yayan about the bioplastic, can it stand for 20 years later? I think if we collaborate well between the research institute, industry, university, and also government support all of the policy, I think we can reach the net zero emission well.
Thank you very much for valuable insight. Today's discussions on that bioplastic are not only a material innovation, but also as important step toward a more sustainable future.
Wow, what an incredible discussion we have had here, Isan. We have gained so much knowledge and valuable information from this session.
That is correct. Perhaps we can directly progress to the second Q&A session. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from Afifah Hilda from University of Lampung, addressed to Dr. Soni. The question is, are there any specific applications where bioplastics have already proven to outperform conventional plastics? Conversely, in which applications are bioplastics still not suitable? I would like to invite Dr. Soni to kindly provide the answer to this question.
Can you repeat your question? Sorry.
Okay. The question is, are there any specific applications where bioplastics have already proven to outperform conventional plastics? Conversely, in which applications are bioplastics still not suitable?
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah. There are so many applications, yeah, that bioplastic is suitable to replace the conventional plastic. Yeah. As I said in my presentation, like packaging material, yeah, as packaging material, and for in medical application also, yeah, is a drug release material, yeah. But for the packaging materials, I think it's it takes maybe more time to increase the properties of the bioplastic, yeah, to can compete with the conventional plastic, yeah. Because as we know, the bioplastic, yeah, have poor mechanical properties, yeah, like mechanical strength and elongation at break, yeah, modulus Young, yeah. So it should be blend or should be modified with another sources of conventional plastic maybe, yeah. So the first step we can solve is we mix the natural polymer with the conventional one, yeah. Like when I study in the master degree, I use the polyvinyl alcohol. Yeah, polyvinyl alcohol is a synthetic polymer. I mix with the starch, yeah, starch from the sago, yeah. Because I pursue my master degree in the Malaysia, so they are make so many grant for the uh, development of biodegradable plastic from the starch, especially from sago starch. I think that's my answer. Yeah. So it needs more research to make the bioplastic compete with conventional plastic. Thank you for the question.
Okay, Afifah Firdarahmani, your question already answered clearly. Okay. Thank you very much to Dr. Sony for the insightful answer.
Alhamdulillah, we have now reached the final segment of today's event. Next, we would like to invite each of our speakers to deliver their closing statement. We would like to begin with Ibu Anissa Istiqomah MS. Please kindly share your closing statement.
A closing statement? Okay. So as a chemist and a student, I hope this kind of event can be more evaluated by the government, and we further look for any other cooperation between the university, research institute, industry, and also government. So I hope we can achieve the net zero emission by 2030 by concerning that idea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibu. Next, we would like to invite Ibu Yayan Nurhamia, SSE PhD, to deliver her closing statement.
Okay. So, to close this discussion, so I would like to emphasize that bioplastic are not simply a replacement material, but a part of broader transition toward a more sustainable plastic industry. So, as we know, in the previous presentation, plastic industry is facing several major challenges, from unstable price of petroleum, dependence on fossil resources, increasing on environmental pressure, stricter regulation, and the growing public concern. So that's why bioplastic offer the solution for these challenges. However, we must also understand that not all bioplastic are the same. Okay, some are bio-based, biodegradable, some are both. So therefore, material testing, selection, certification, and clear labeling are very important. So, and also in Indonesia, the opportunity is very strong. Yeah, we have abundant local biomass, and also including agricultural resources, seaweed, and also coffee grounds from the cafes and other organic materials. However, the use of biomass needs to be managed carefully. We should prioritize clean, traceable, and non-food biomass source to avoid competition with food supply and agricultural land. At the same time, bioplastic innovation must move beyond laboratory scale. So industry needs material that are available in the machinery ready, compatible with existing machinery, stable, and also economically competitive. Therefore, the future of bioplastic will depend not only on research, but also on collaboration among researchers, industry, government, and society. We need stronger standardization, better waste management systems, supportive policies from the government, and public education so the bioplastic can be used correctly and responsibly. So at the end, so bioplastic are not a single solution to plastic problems, but they are important part of the solution. With the right technology, the right raw materials, and the right regulation from the government, bioplastic can help Indonesia to be more sustainable, resilient, and have a circular plastic industry. Okay, once again, I want to give my gratitude to the committee. Thank you so much for inviting me for this webinar discussion. And I hope I can give my insight about the bioplastic industry and also bioplastic research in green. And I hope we can somehow collaborate together in the future. And I want to apologize if my answer or my explanation didn't satisfy, or maybe I have some lack of the solution or something. I want to make apologies to the audience as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you very much, Ibu Yayan, for the closing statement. Finally, we would like to invite Dr. Sony Widiarto, SFE MNT, to deliver his closing statement.
Okay, thank you very much to Himaki, Himpunan Mahasiswa Kimia Universitas Lampung, for inviting me to the discussion, scientific discussion. So may I conclude the discussion that bioplastic right now is maybe not compete with the conventional plastic, but they are one promising component of a broader transition toward a sustainable and circular economic. Yeah. So the success of the production of bioplastics depends not only on advance in chemistry and material science, but also on responsible production, effective waste management, sportive policy, and inform consumer behavior. As a future scientist, yeah, so you have the opportunity, yeah, to contribute to this transformation through research, creativity, and collaboration. So let us continue, yeah, to develop materials that not only meet society's need, but also protect our planet from future generation. Thank you very much for the attention, and I would be happy to answer and to collaborate, especially with our speaker, yeah, Ibu Anissa Istiqomah, yeah, and Ibu Dr. Yayan Nurhamiah. So maybe in the next we can collaborate the research. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sony, for the closing statement. With that, we have come to the end of today's Diskusi Ilmiah. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to express our deepest gratitude to our three speakers who have shared their valuable knowledge and insight with us today. Ibu Ansah Istiqomah MS, Ibu Yayan Nurhamiah SSI PhD, Dr. Soni Widianto SSI MSc. Thank you very much to all of our speakers for your time, contribution, and inspiring discussion.
This is a kind reminder to all participants who have not yet completed the attendance form. Please take a moment to fill it out at your earliest convenience. Thank you for your attention and cooperation. Last but not least, we would also like to express our gratitude to all participants of this Diskusi Ilmiah for your enthusiasm and active participation, as well as to the organizing committee for giving us the opportunity to serve as moderators. Before we officially conclude this event, we will proceed with a documentation session first. For all participants who have not turned on their cameras yet, we kindly ask you to activate them. To the organizing committee, please prepare and kindly give us the signal when we are ready.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm the Zoom operator. I will take the screenshot of each slide for documentation. So please make sure the slides are ready and visible. I will count before taking each screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's move to the next slide. 1, 2, 3. Next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's move to the next slide. 1, 2, 3. 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 And last slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Thank you for the moderator for the. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for the documentation team. Finally, we are come to the last agenda. I am Riva Putri Halomoan Siregar, and
I, Ahmed Iksan Ibrahim.
we would like to say thanks again to all audience for active participation.
We are sorry if there are mistakes in both word and attitude.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Bapak Ibu.
Kulina ya saya bingung di